Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, November 22nd, 2019. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Do you know how sometimes in baseball or in basketball or hockey, how a team will get pushed to Game 7 in the series, then turn around and kick everyone's butt in the next round of the playoffs? Well, given the way everything went down in the Olympia weekend battle between her and Latoya Watts, I can't help but wonder if we're about to see a similar situation from Sydney Gillen. Back in September, Sydney had the biggest test of her pro career, and she ended up winning after what essentially came down to a coin flip. So she might be the defending champion now, but she still has a lot to prove. And I'm sure I won't be the only one who's curious to see how she responds next season. Sometimes in sports, you can watch a team or a player come up big in a big moment, and you just know that they're 2 or 3 years away from being a serious contender. And if you paid attention to the Classic Physique division this year, I'm guessing you probably came away with the same feeling about Jonathan Hambrick. This kid held his own at 21 years old on the Olympia stage, and so far he's only gotten better through the early part of his off-season. Last year he was 2 or 3 years away, so heading into next season, I expect to see him hit the ground running. Because if this kid plays his cards right, I wouldn't be surprised if he became a top 5 or 6 competitor in the division before the end of next season. Everyone's had that one friend who could always blow them out of the water on the bench no matter what they did. And if I had to guess, Luke Sandoz, probably that friend for every single person in his contacts. Earlier this week, Big Luke released a ridiculous chest video that showed him cranking out reps with almost 500 pounds on the incline so easily that I could have sworn he was using fake weights if I didn't know any better. In a lot of ways, this was a breakout year for Luke all the way across the board. But when you see him doing stuff like this in the gym on a regular basis, isn't it hard to figure out how he's been able to jump so many levels so quickly? Well, not really. Unless you're a giant UFC and boxing nerd, you probably don't know that New Zealand and Australia have some of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world right now. But I bet none of those guys would be too thrilled at the idea of spending a few rounds inside the octagon with Josh Lenardowitz. Hopefully now that his latest health hiccup is behind him, Josh can turn his attention back towards doing what he loves, because he's a special talent when he gets it going. And even with all the big names we have heading into the 2020 Arnold, I still think he's got a good enough shot at a top 2 finish when he's at his best. And that does it for another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.